Hey YouTube, Sweetknives here. Check it out. We got a Kershaw Lucha. This is a really kick-butt knife from Kershaw, and it's customized with the fly titanium handles. Check out these green handles. Just absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice. Love the way those feel, the way they look. Great detail. I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about this knife. So this is one of Kershaw's, I think it's one of their first butterfly knives ever. I could be wrong, but I think it's one of their first ones. Came out in 2020, and it's a big knife. I mean, you're looking at 10 1/4 inches total length. The blade length is 4.6 inches, and it's got a little bit thicker blade right here. And it's made out of Sandvik 14C28N, which is a pretty good steel. The model number is 5150, made in the USA. It's got a clip point blades, stonewash finish. It's a plain edge. Really, really nice knife. These are the original handles, stainless steel. They feel really good. These feel even better. This is a look at the box. It's got special bearings in here, so it's a very smooth knife. I mean, this is a fairly affordable knife. It's actually less expensive than a lot of the big brand names, so that's one really, really nice thing. It comes from the factory, very sharp. I actually tested the sharpness out of this. It was pretty sharp, but I got this one from my buddy, and he wanted it to be a little bit sharper. So I'm gonna put this on the wicked edge, and we're gonna get it really, really sharp. So stay tuned, guys. I'm gonna hook it up, and then I'll be back in a second, and then we'll start sharpening it. All right, YouTube, I'm back. Here we go. What I'm gonna do is I always start out using a Sharpie, and this is mounted on the wicked edge. It doesn't matter which system you have. I just happen to be using the wicked edge right now. I have it set up, but all these different guided systems can be really, really good if you use the right sequence. So again, on this one, I'm going to build chapters into the video, so if you want to skip ahead, you certainly can. If you want to watch the whole process, stay with me, but this usually takes about 30 minutes if you want to do it right. What we're doing is, even though this is a brand new knife, we have to start from the lower grits and start reprofiling it on this type of guided system, because when it was originally sharpened, they used a belt sander. And there's nothing wrong with using a belt sander, but the geometry isn't identical to using stone. So as we're using the stones, this is a slightly bit different geometry. And so the very first time you sharpen on one of these type of systems, you kind of have to break in the sharpening of the knife. And after we're done going through this process, all subsequent future sharpenings in the future for this particular knife will go much, much easier. You probably wouldn't have to start with 200. You might be able to get by with 600 or 800, and it'll be a very straightforward process. But since we have to actually take more material off, we're going to start with the 200 grit stone, which I'm holding up right now. This is diamonds, so for a lot of these higher end steels, diamond stones actually help make the process quite a bit faster. So we're going to start with 200. We're going to go to 400, 600, 800 grit, then 1000. And from there, you know, you don't have to have these additional stones, but it does help. So I usually go 1500 diamonds after that. And then I go to 2200 or 3000 if you have those stones, and then I start the lapping film process. That's the final, almost think of it as like the stropping or the buffing, except we're using these 3M lapping films, which were designed for polishing glass originally. They work amazing for knives, even though they were made originally for optical glass. They work phenomenal for polishing metal. So what we end up doing is we start with like right around 1,000 or 1,500 in the lapping films, and then we move up to like 2,000, 3,000, 6,000, 15,000, and then like 40,000, and then they have it in micron. So 9 micron, 6 micron, 3 micron, and 1 micron and 0.5. And then that's it. After that point, you should have a very sharp knife. So if you're new to sharpening, I want to explain something. I don't always explain this on a lot of my videos because I know a lot of you guys are not new to this process. But what we're trying to do on the very early stages on any type of sharpening is we need to grind material off and create what they call, and we want to create the perfect apex. And in order to create the perfect apex, you have to create a burr. That's where you know you've sharpened enough on one side, and it creates what they call like a wire edge or a burr. So if I'm sharpening on this side, the burr is going to kind of roll to this side, and you can feel that sometimes with your finger or see it in a magnifying glass. Once we have established that burr on one side, then we also have to do it on the other side. So what you want to do is you want to kind of take off equal amounts of material, get a burr, and then make the burr go the other way. And so once you do that, then you know you've correctly apexed the knife. After you've correctly apexed the knife, it's about progressing through the different diamond stones that we have to refine that apex to a perfect point. But the very first step usually takes the longest, where you have to take off the most material to get that perfect apex. So hopefully I've explained that well. If not, we'll get it on the next run around. But let me just show you this. I kind of measured the angle ahead of time. It came out to be 24. It's not always the same on each side, so having things like a little angle cube, this is the one that I have, this can actually tell you the degrees. You know, it can actually tell you what degrees you're at. So on this particular one, I figured out that it's actually the factory grind was right around 24. And so I just know that that's what it is. So let's just start. We just got to start kind of grinding material off right now. And you can see that instantly takes off the marker. So I want to see if it does that on this side too. And I'm sorry if that's a little bit loud. Feel free to turn it off, the volume off, if it is a little bit loud. So far it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. I'm gonna have to grind a little bit more, I think, on the other side. They don't always line up the way that I like, so we'll see. I have a little flashlight here just so I can see. And another good thing that you should have are some rags so you can wipe off these filings. It's very important you don't contaminate the other stones, as you go along. So I'm just looking. It's looking good. I can see there's some marker towards the apex of that. So I'm going to have to grind quite a bit here. So bear with me. Sometimes you can see little hairs. That means that it's catching the burr that's forming. It's a good sign. Sometimes these tips are really hard because the metal becomes thicker up here, and so oftentimes there's more material that you have to grind off with these type of systems. It's getting sharper. I'm really close. Really close. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start going the alternating ways. Once you kind of get it good, then you can go like this. Usually do 50 to 100 of these. I'm just testing that sharpness. It is catching on my fingernail, so I'm pretty confident that's good. That tip is hard, but I'm pretty sure that that's kind of how I want it. So now we're gonna go to 400 grit. So that's this stone here. It has 400 on one side and 600 on the other. So we will start refining with the yellow side, which is 400. And the reason I don't go straight to the up and or the alternating is because I just wanna make sure I'm hitting every spot just real lightly on each side. I use the same amount of strokes on each side. There's different ways to accomplish the same results. I kind of like doing it this way, but I know other people might have a slightly different method that they use. You know what? That's fine. If something else works for you guys, that's totally fine. What we're trying to do at this point is just really get that apex perfection, perfecto. And I believe we're in that right process. One other trick of the trade is every time you move to a new stone like this, I always set this up in the middle. I put it on a level surface down here, and I tear it out, and I put it on the same spot, and it should say, yep, 24.5. That's actually what I got. And I do that on each side. So then I'll lay this one up. I don't think you guys can see this, but it did say 24.5. So that's a good thing to do, like a good trick of the trade. Every time you kind of switch your grits, it's a good idea to just check the stone, because you might have to make a micro adjustment if it's off more than say half a degree or a degree. You would want to adjust it. Otherwise, if you start doing this, you're not going to be on at all. So that's really important. Okay, let's just keep doing these. Alrighty, I think that's pretty good. Now what we can do is we can just check again, see if it's catching everywhere. If there's a spot where I feel like it doesn't catch my fingernail, what I'll do is I'll just do a few more strokes on that side. So with that, we're ready to move on, flip it over and go to the 600. I know I mentioned this, but when you get to the tip like that, you only really want to go about halfway, have the stone go about halfway onto there. You see how I'm going like that? Otherwise, if you go more than halfway, you'll tilt it like that and you'll start to really mess up that tip. So one of my little tricks is when I get to this spot, I don't go more than halfway on the stone. And sometimes you have to shine a light. I have lights shined on this right now, but that's a real helpful thing on each side. You want to make sure that you don't go over that too much. Otherwise, what will happen is you'll completely round it, and you don't want to round that. You want to keep that tip really, really nice. So there we go. I think we're ready to do the alternating. And the nice thing with the alternating is when you come, you're not ever really rounding it. You got to be careful you don't push over. You just come off. You just come straight off. This takes practice. I kind of probably make it look easy, but I'm just going straight off every time and I'm going up too. So I start here, I'm moving up and off, up, off. Up, off. Believe me, the first few times you do this, you'll want to start on some cheaper knives because you don't want to mess up your good knives. By the way, guys, if you have made it this far, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe. I can't tell you that really does help me a lot. It triggers the algorithms in YouTube to promote the video, share it, get more likes, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, I'm able to grow the channel and make more videos. So really, really appreciate that, guys. All right, let's just wipe this off a little bit. Just take a quick peek. I do have a little flashlight I can shine just to see if I see anything. No, everything looks good. One thing too that I would just recommend, I got a blue towel here, but after like the first few grits, since I've been wiping, the steel shavings and all of that, I switch to a different color. This is an orange one now. So as we move up, I just keep switching because you don't want to wipe it and then put shavings of metal on like 1,000 grit stone. So it's really important that you continue to clean this stuff. And I promise you'll have a lot in between each sharpening. You want to clean these diamonds. You can clean them with Dawn dish soap and scrub them and then dry them. Or if you have a sonic cleaner, those work pretty good too. So now we're on 800. Same thing, just up and down. The mirror starts showing around 1,500 to 2,000. The edge will become so refined that it'll start looking like a mirror. But right now it's still got scratches, these lighter colored scratches. And then what happens is if I do this right, it'll look black, either black or real shiny on camera, depending on how the light's hitting it. So you might not be able to tell until after we're done. And another thing, never ever rush through this stuff. Like, it might seem like, oh my gosh, this is taking so long, but the truth is you're putting the most amazing edge that you're ever going to have on your knife ever. And what you want to do is you don't want to rush through that process. You really want to take your time, because if you rush through it, you're going to screw it up. And another thing, some people want to alter that angle, the factory angle, a lot. You can do that. You can bring that down to like say 20, or you can go 17, whatever you want. This is a good angle for, you know, the factory puts their stuff at certain angles because it makes sense based on their geometry. But if you want to, you could bring this down more. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, here we go. We're going to do the alternating sequences. All right, now we are going to move to 1,000. And I was just going to mention, guys, I have tried a lot of sharpening systems. I haven't tried them all, but I've tried a lot of them. And I do find that these ones where you put a knife in and you use the various diamonds like this, you're able to achieve a perfect angle because we're using this angle cube to make sure that we get it within, you know, half a degree. And I've done some reading, and I don't have anything against people that want to use the regular stones and you rub the knife across, but the problem with that, and it's not really a problem, but it can be a problem, is unless you're really, really, really experienced, and they say even the best, most experienced sharpeners that have been doing this for over 10, 20, 30 years, the ones that push, you see these chefs, they'll push it across the stone on a bench. The problem with that is you can only ever get within 2 to 3 degrees. That's just the human tolerance of being able to hold the angle. Yeah, they have little angle guides and so forth, but it's a lot harder to keep a consistent angle. Whereas like this, the knife is not moving. I mean, it's right there. Nothing's moving. So we're always getting the same angle on this knife. This takes practice too, you'd think, but I'll tell you, it's way easier than if you were to use those other ones where you just slide it across. So basically, in a nutshell, if you're considering buying a system like this or other ones, you won't be disappointed. It'll take some practice, but you will achieve phenomenal results. And even now at 1,000, I'm at 1,000. A lot of times, if you had a knife, like just a working blade, you would stop at 1,000. If you didn't need it to have a mirror, you could just stop right now at 1,000 because it's really hair popping sharp. What we're gonna do though is we're gonna take it way beyond that. Like even right now, it's super smooth. As I run this across, I can just tell it's just gliding, like just a perfect glide. There's no catching. I mean, it's really sharp right now. So, yeah, let's take these off. We're gonna now move to the finer stages. So, just bear with me 1 second. I'm gonna get something. We are now going to move to 1500. So I'm going to put the 1500s on. And yeah, here we go. I think I've said this in some of my other videos, but I really like the 1500. I don't know why. I want to make sure I get that tip. Sometimes that tip is tricky. All right, we're gonna do these again. I know that that's sharp, guys. All right. Moving along. It's so sharp. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go from 1500 to 3000. I don't know why. I don't know what it was, but with the 2200, I didn't feel like it was doing a huge deal the very last time. So I think I'm good just going to 3000. Yeah, you can see it's already starting to mirror really nice. I think that's good. I think that's really good on that. So now we've entered into the lapping films. So you don't have to do this, but I sometimes do. I got these little pieces of chamois cloth that I've cut up, just regular chamois, and sometimes I'll run that across. and I want to hold on to those. And now I'm going to start, you can see this one here. This is actually mounted to a glass platen, and I got 9 micron on one side and 3 on the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of water on these. So I'll show you what I do. Just going to put a little bit of water on it. Just a little bit of water. Oops. Might put a little more water. Hang on. Can you see that's already starting to look good? Here we go. Yeah, that's looking great, guys. That's looking really, really great. So now I'm gonna do the other one, which is 3. I'm gonna put a little bit of water. I just dab a little bit on a rag, and I just kind of wipe it on there. And I'll do the same on this side. That's perfect. So now we got 3. You can probably see it's starting to really look like a nice mirror. We'll do that one more time. I'll just dab a little bit of water. I find that it helps it glide a lot better. And it kind of cleans that a little bit too. That is unbelievably sharp right now, but let's do this. Let's wipe this off with one of those chamois. Gotta be careful now. You don't wanna cut yourself. All right, let's put those away. We're moving on to the final stage. We got 1 and 0.5 now. So I will put a little bit of water. I'm going to put a little bit of water on this again. And then we can start. Here we go. Now, about that far, I found that it's good to just rinse it again. Kind of wipe it and put a little bit more water on. And now I'll do it again. that's incredible. I don't know if you can see the mirror there, but it's pretty good. So we got one more stage, and that is 0.5. So I got a little bit more water here. Just dab a little on. And here we go. And then one more finale here. Well guys, that completes the entire sharpening on the wicked edge. And that is just an unbelievable edge now. Be careful if you're ever doing that. I'm going to take it out of the vise and I'm going to show you some of the up close pictures. So just hang tight, I'll be right back. All right guys, I'm back, and as you can see, the knife looks black. That's because I have it tilted down, but look at that. It's unbelievably sharp. My camera actually, you can actually see, like, it looks like some tiny little scratches. And that is true. There's some tiny little ones, but it's actually unbelievably mirrored to the naked eye. And it's just super, super, super sharp. I mean, I'm running out of hair, even all the way up to the tip. Watch this. I mean, it's just unbelievably sharp. I mean, I'm not even pressing. You can probably tree tap. Let me see if it catches. Yeah, see that? It actually caught some hairs there as I'm going above my arm. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I mean, it's insane how sharp you can get these. Watch this. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyway, guys, I wanted to just show you that the possibilities of what you can do with some of these sharpeners and the lapping films. You guys know the drill. If you do need lapping films, just email me, sweetknives2020@gmail.com. I can make them for any sharpening system. Cut them to perfect lengths, so just let me know. Thanks a lot for checking out this video. I'm going to have a lot more sharpening tutorials coming up, so definitely thanks again. And if you made it this far, please consider subscribing and hit that like button. Appreciate it. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.